All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the studio. I'm going to click over and just make sure that we're actually streaming, you know, all the technology. Yay, awesome. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. I made the mistake of wearing kind of a bluey green shirt today, so every now and then I disappear into my green screen, and then I look like a floating head, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll be all right. All right, you guys, I've got some things to show you today. We're going to talk about some housekeeping stuff as we barrel into the end of the school year. It is week 3 for everybody except for the Monday people, because remember, you guys started just a little bit behind. Our month started on a Tuesday. So, Monday people, you guys are going to do week 2 today. And this video, as we talk about week 3, is for Tuesday through next Monday. All right, see, there I go, disappearing into my green screen. That's okay. That's all right. Poor choice of shirt for a Monday, but that'll be all right. I need to let everybody know that if you're in a Friday class, we do not have class in Liberty on Friday. It's Good Friday, and the Liberty Public Schools are off. So if you normally come to preschool fundamentals or you normally come to creative explorations, don't come this week because we don't have class. Sorry, my studio says I'm disconnected. There we go. I learned I have to pause when I lose my connection, which is kind of cool. But yeah, 6 classes. So if you're in multimedia or drawing, we're down to 6 classes. If you are in fundamentals or creative explorations or toddler art and play, you're down to 4 in the year, you guys. It's nuts, man. This school year flew by. All right, here we go. Let's talk through fundamentals. Oh, see, and I thought I could. There it goes. Okay. Preschool fundamentals classes. We are reading our 3rd book of the month. Here in week 3, we're going to read The Lumberjack's Beard. Has a lot of great animals in that story, has some great nature elements. We're going to warm up by making art on nature elements like tree bark and sticks. We'll use wet chalk for that. And then when we go back to the tables to do our projects, they will be animal themed and mixed media based. Reminder, Friday people don't come to class, okay? This will be our last class of April, and then we'll have the rest of the month off, which we're going to talk about in housekeeping. But if you're in a Tuesday class, you're going to have a couple days off, okay? Because there's 5 Tuesdays in the month. But we'll have a couple days off or a day off, and then we'll go into May, and then that'll be the end of our school year. Make sure you check out those storytime classes this summer, okay, preschool people? So that way you can get your Orange Easel fix. Multimedia people. Now, I brought multimedia stuff for, I gotta reorganize, you guys. I got a mess here. Last week I brought a bunch of drawing stuff, and so this week I thought I'd bring a bunch of mixed media or multimedia stuff. Remember, it's Fiber Arts Month, so our K-thirds are making these beautiful wall hangings. In week 1, we looked at inspiration to understand what fiber arts were. We also learned the technique for attaching the string onto the stick, right, with that fold over double and then pull the tails through. And then they started creating just last week. So they had a great time, you guys, like exploring the fibers and creating their like composition. So I grabbed some things. I'm gonna grab them off the floor here to show you that are like, I mean, amazing, right? So let's see if I can pull. They're kind of like how fun is that? Look, we already have a pom-pom made on this one. I wish you could touch it too because they're all different textures. Some of them, like this one has almost like a scrubby texture to it. Now, some of our kids will still be working to fill them out. So the goal last week's class was to get, oops, this one's, hang on. I'll put this down. Don't put that in your mouth, Allison. Not on YouTube. All right. The goal for last class was to get a wall of fibers. And you can see like some of our kids still need to work on kind of some density, but that's okay. Look at each one of these is a different skein of yarn that they had to go find and choose, cut a piece and tie it on. So they'll work on getting that density. And then one of the really fun things they can do at the end is do like a trim and get a fun shape here. Let's see if I can find you another one to look at. I've got a pile in my lap here. Oh, come here. This one. This one has some really fun yarns. It's got some of our big fat ones. And like some of it's like the eyelash yarn, you know. So good stuff happening in our wall hangings. The kids are having a great time. They're being very good stewards of our yarn skeins, you know, because when you have 80 people sharing skeins of yarn, you can end up with a hot mess pretty fast. So they've been doing a really good job with that, making sure they pull from the correct end, you know, from the middle, and they, you know, if there's a knot, they get it untangled, that they put it back where it's supposed to go, all that fun stuff. So good stuff in our K-thirds. That will just continue. Again, the goal is density. And then this week, now that they kind of have a base, we'll work on some of those advanced techniques that we taught in week 1. So things like braiding or twisting or weaving. And they can also do the pom-poms, or they can do tassels. All right, let's see. 4th and 5th. So they're making wearable art. They're making like cuff bracelets. And they're using needle felting and wool roving to do that. So I thought I'd show you kind of some of the things that they have made so far. You can see the cuffs are flat like this. They will eventually go around. They will get secured with a button. And they will also get some embroidery and stitching detail. And that's pretty awesome. So it's almost dimensional. This artist has done a really good job of getting that very dense and solid in there. This one's green, that's why you can't see that, but you guys, those are amazing. This is our 4th and our 5th and our homeschool. Let me get another one. That one has a lot of green in it. You're not able to see that one. Kind of a different design choice. But you can see how flat it is. That's a lot of needle felting, you guys. That's a lot of work to go all the way across and to felt that. So again, we've got a really good start on our cuff bracelet. Our goal is to get all the felting done by the end of class this week. And that way we can spend week 4 doing embroidery details. They're going to learn how to do, if sew on a button, right? And then we have to, if they want, anyway, we're going to teach them a blanket stitch to go around the edge. We've got different embroidery floss to do that. So, cool. Super fun. All right. So that's our needle felting for our 4th and 5th graders. And at the beginning of the month, I know I talked about how the felting needles are a barb needle. They are sharp. And I mentioned some safety concerns and some maturity that needed to happen. And I want to let you know that all the artists are doing a really good job. Like, we're super proud of them. So, okay. Let's go through our big kids. So our 6th, 7th, and our 8th through 12th are also needle felting, but they have a much bigger scale. They're basically making a painting using the wool roving. So they can do any like composition of their choice. And then they have to create a piece of artwork. So it's just like painting or drawing, but instead of using like a paintbrush or utensils, you're using wool, and you have to stab it in order to get it on there. So here's the beginnings of a few that we have going on. You can see on the back, this might be interesting. On the back, you can see the wool fibers start to get pushed through there. I gotta make sure that they've got their names on them, so I gotta get them relabeled as I pull them out. Oh, that one's so cool, but it has so much green on it. You're not able to see that one. Here's one that doesn't have much green. So again, look at how nice and flat and dense that is. The wool, when it comes, you guys, is so fluffy. So in order to get it to flatten out, you have to tangle up those fibers with the barbed needle. Let's do one more. I'm going to show you what we got going on. Ooh, that's a fun one. I don't know which way it goes. Maybe this way. Isn't that great? So these guys eventually will be matted. So they will be a 2D kind of flat painting. And so we'll put them in a mat so that finishes their edges. they will continue to work. I mean, this is just a really tedious process. Takes a lot of time to get it all felted. So pretty much it's like come in, grab your stuff, and get to work is their class plan. Depending on the kind of um, the detail that they need to do, or how long they spent, sketching, or the speed in which they felt, and felting speed doesn't necessarily mean how fast your needle is moving up and down. There is a technique to it. So if they need more time, they can always come in during any of those opens, like makeup times. Okay. Or I mean, if makeup times don't work for you, talk to me or talk to Miss Sarah, talk to your instructor about just coming in before your class or staying late after your class. A lot of our older kids do a really great job working independently, and we have no problem having them come in during a class that's already happening, and just work, use their studio. So. Okay, creative exploration. So our stations for creative explorations are here. The kids have had a lot of fun with those spray bottles and the fabric. They've had a lot of fun with sticks and yarn. Like I said, a few of the classes have gotten out felting stuff, and that's been really popular. Just a reminder, there's no Friday class. So Wednesday people, you guys are going to wrap up your month this week. This is it, your last class. But my Friday people, you got the week off because Liberty Public Schools are out. We'll see you next week to wrap up your April stations, okay? Drawing classes. Now, I didn't bring anything for drawing because last week I don't know what I'm bringing. Don't put that down. Last week we looked at everybody's sketchbooks, and this week I wanted to get out multimedia stuff. So no drawing stuff to show you, but I will tell you what we've been doing. Last week for the 101s, we focused on facial features. And so this is a lesson that we did in September, and we're just revisiting it. In September, we only had eyes because eyes are really great to draw. It's a great lesson in just looking at detail, being able to use our powers of observation. It's understanding that there's a lot going on in there. There's lids on the top, lids on the bottom. There's the plane, like what we would call like a water line. There's, obviously there's wrinkles on some of our eyes. There's eyelashes. There's the pupil. There's the iris. There's the whites of the eye. There's the corner of the eye. It's a great exercise for the power of observation. So we still had those pictures. And then in addition to that, we added in pictures of noses and pictures of mouths. And these were just clip art from Canva that I zoomed in on faces and turned them black and white. Because in addition to understanding, number one, that all of our facial features are different, but also understanding that I can do different things with my face. So we had, mouths that were open and mouths that were angry and mouths that were silly and mouths that were smiling and all sorts of different things. Being black and white, we were able to look at the different values and seeing that it's not always a line that defines the shape, especially in noses. So it was a great exercise for the 101s. I know I teach on Tuesday. They did a fantastic job just like tackling that lesson and being open to new ideas and discovery. And so we had some great stuff come out of that class. In our lesson this week, we're going to be drawing from our imagination. Remember, we draw from life, we draw from photograph, we draw from imagination. So this time we will not be using powers of observation. It'll be using kind of that library that we keep in our brain, plus whatever we can imagine. And so we're going to get out the Sumi ink and the glass pens, and we're going to draw with ink. We'll add value with charcoal, but we're going to draw portraiture and people from our imagination. In our 102 classes, so we have two 102 classes, our illustrative class is doing planes and trains and automobiles, these like moving mechanical things. In week 1, we learned how to take that kind of flat 2D drawing of a car and spin it in space so that it has form. And then in week 2, we looked at like, okay, let's design our own vehicle and put it in space and have it, draw in 3D. In week 3, which is this week, we're gonna anthropomorphize that thing. So we're gonna look at making that actually a character. So what human characteristics can our car have? The nice thing about that is that it already has the ability to move, which is one of the characteristics that we usually think of when we anthropomorphize common household things. So we already have that, but we have to get other ways. So for it to be a character, and then how do we use, different techniques to show emotion? So how does that car then, or that plane, or that train, or that whatever, how does it show emotion? So we'll do that. In realistic class, don't click through because I got to talk about realistic. A realistic class last week did, oh, they were so good. I should have brought them. They were so good. We did chalk pastel landscapes. So we looked at photographs of different landscapes in different seasons. We have a ton of different pictures from Canva. And then we rendered those in chalk pastel. So they were beautiful. In this week's lesson, we're doing a self-portrait from life. I'm like, what are we doing? I know it was something I was excited about. We're going to draw a self-portrait from life. So this is like look in a mirror and draw yourself. Should be good. Advanced classes, so our 103 classes who are working on different compositions every month and they finish a composition every month. Realistic is working big poster size. Next week I'll go get them out of the closet, but they're big. I'm gonna have to shut off the green screen in order for you to see it too because they're landscapes, so there's lots of green in them. But they are huge landscape pictures by with chalk pastels that they've been doing, and they look really really good. And they're just working to finish. It's just on that kind of scale. It's something that they have to work to finish. So got to get a lot of coverage. My 103 illustrative are anthropomorphizing characters. So they had to come up with their characters or their household items and then how to turn them into anthropomorphic characters and solve them in the background. So we're hoping to finish all of our inking this week so that way we can get into coloring and have them finished by week 4. Let's go through some housekeeping things. Obviously, I did not do a slide for each one, so we'll just go through them all. Ready? As a reminder, there's no Friday classes this week, so if you are in a Friday preschool class or you are in a Friday creative explorations class in Liberty, no classes this week. Now, makeups in Flatwoods, you guys still meet. It's just the Friday classes. Okay. Everyone is invited to our art show, so even if you didn't get something submitted, that's a-okay. We'd still love to have you join us. It's a special night, super fun at the Belvoir Winery. We have just under like 197, 198 pieces submitted. So it should be a really great show. If you came last year, same place, right? But instead of just having the upstairs ballroom, we've got the first floor ballroom, what they call the ice cream parlor, which is the other large room on the west side of the building at the first floor. And then we still have the second floor ballroom. So we actually have 3 different spaces. The art will be split between those 3 spaces. It will be split essentially at random. We tried to make sure that we had all ages in all spaces and all media in all spaces. The only exception being 3D media that stands will be in the upstairs ballroom because that's where the tables are. But when you come in, there will be a program that will tell you in which space your child's artwork is being displayed. Also in each space, there's a fun photo backdrop for you to take pictures at. All of the instructors will be stationed around in the different spaces. You can play bingo if you did that last year. That was really popular. So we'll have the bingo blackout cards where you can kind of go on an adventure and fill out your card and get a prize once you have it all filled out. We'll have the Orange Easel tattoos again for those of you who got those last year. That was fun. Trying to think what else. We're still doing the cookies. That's going to be the same. I do need to get those ordered. Gotta get the cookies ordered. And then we did change up the drinks. Last year we had drink coolers and Miss Laura was in charge of the punch and she did such a good job and the punch was delicious and it was gone in like 15 minutes. So I said, well, maybe we should be in charge of art and not punch because we're not very good at this. So the Belvoir is going to be in charge of drinks for us this year. You will actually go to the bar to get your drinks. Orange Easel will be covering the cost of all like waters and sodas. We'll take care of that barbell. But and if you need a glass of wine, it's on you. But waters and sodas we get you covered. So just go to the bar for that, and that way we don't run out of drinks. I think that's it for right now. I can't think of anything else, but we're really excited for the show and we can't wait to see you guys. That's it. Okay. Mother's Day classes, quick note is we are enrolling for Mother's Day. So if you're looking for something fun to do, it's not on Mother's Day. It's not even on Mother's Day weekend. It's the weekend before. And each studio is doing a morning class that is supposed to be like a mommy and me type class. But it doesn't have to be mom, right? It can be any special person in your life. Plywoods is doing matching charm bracelets, and Liberty is doing matching pour paints. come and join us. It would be super fun. I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about, but I can't. Oh well. As a reminder, just kind of looking ahead at the month of April, there are 5 Tuesdays and there are 5 Wednesdays. So if you're in a Tuesday or a Wednesday class, just know that you're going to have an off day here at the end of the month. Okay. I think that's it. I feel like we went through that like super fast. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Monday and a great week. And if you need anything from me, you know where to find me. I will be in the Liberty Studio.